Om Shanti. Are you all happy? So it's going to be Mahalaya Amavasya on September 25, 2022. So this is the last day of Pitru Paksha that started on September 10. So it's a 15 days period, and the last day is this Mahalaya Amavasya. And it is believed our ancestors visit us during these 15 days, and we need to thank them, apologize them for our mistakes, and also forgive them of their mistakes and pray for their salvation. So we are supposed to do it on these 15 days. If we did not do it, at least we should be doing it on the last day, which is Mahalaya Amavasya. So people offer tarpan for this ancestors on this Mahalaya Amavasya in water areas like rivers, oceans, and people take a dip in holy rivers like Ganges. This ceremony is basically to cut off all the connections between us and the ancestors, and also we need to seek their blessings before they leave this earth on Mahalaya Amavasya. So all we offer as Pindadan or Shraddha during Mahalaya Amavasya for ancestors is just water mixed with sesame seeds and milk. Do you think anybody will get satisfied just by offering water and sesame seeds? So all religious ceremonies are carried out in memory of something deeply spiritual. And what is deeply spiritual about this particular ceremony is the moon. Actually, this Pitru Paksha starts on a full moon day, Purnima, when moon is fully bright, and it ends on the new moon day, Amavasya, where there is absolutely no light. It is completely dark. Just as moon loses its light gradually during the course of Pitru Paksha, those 15 days, our soul also loses its power over the course of 5,000-year time cycle called Kalpa. In the beginning, just like a full moon, our soul is filled with 100% power, because of which the soul is able to get a beautiful, healthy body, very good neighbors and relatives, and the world itself was heaven in the beginning. It all happens because of the 100% power of the soul. So that's when the world was heaven, and the souls were called deities. So they were in a very beautiful body, and also they had divine virtues. So, and also they are absolutely free of any vices like lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, which can be called as spiritual darkness. So there is no trace of darkness in heaven in the beginning, just like there is no trace of darkness in the moon on the full moon day. In heaven, we had divine qualities, and we were not attached to anything or anybody. We were truly independent, and we were blessed with everything we need to remain happy. Moreover, we were soul conscious, which means we considered ourselves to be the souls that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why we till date have this habit of applying tilak in between the eyebrows. So the first 2,500 years, this world continued to be heaven. So there were absolutely no attachment with each other. So there were no trace of any sort of suffering or pain in heaven. But after 2,500 years, the heaven slowly turns to hell because we become body conscious from soul conscious, which means we forget that we are souls. Instead, we considered ourselves to be this body. While we were soul conscious, we were constantly aware that we are the souls that sees through the eyes, speaks through the mouth, performs everything using this body. But we are not this body. This body is just an instrument given to the soul to carry out its orders. So we know about these relationships. So we were very clear about this relationship while we were in heaven, but while entering hell, what happens is we no longer consider ourselves to be the souls. We have completely forgotten the fact that we are souls. So what happens when you forget who you really are? You are going to obviously believe what you see, which is this body. So now you develop body consciousness. While you were soul conscious, you were constantly happy and peaceful and blissful because the true nature of the soul itself is blissfulness and peacefulness. Since you no longer have the awareness on the soul, you don't experience that blissfulness from within. So you need to depend on the external things for you to remain happy. That's how you become addicted to sensual pleasures. And slowly these five vices, lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego, start developing within you, making you do more and more sins, because of which we start losing everything God provided us with in the heaven. So we start losing beauty, health, divine qualities, and also we start getting many new diseases. We see conflict within the family, within the nation, in between the nations, and many natural calamities. So all we experience now is nothing but pain and sorrow. So it is to rescue us from this world of sorrow. God Shiva himself comes to this earth. He enters an old man's body and start give these teachings called Murli, which is available absolutely free of cost in all Brahmakumaris Raj Yoga Meditation Center. It is also available in internet. You can Google it as Murli in any language. So it is by reading Murli daily and by remembering God as a point of light after considering ourselves to be souls that we can fill our soul with power that we originally possessed in the beginning. Now we have obviously lost almost all its power because of our addiction to the sensual pleasures, because that's how soul loses power at a faster rate. So when your soul loses its power, it can no longer has the ability to differentiate between right and wrong. So what I said so far applies to all the souls on earth. So while we were in heaven, we were very happy with each other. Even animals were loving to each other and also loving to humans. So it was filled with happiness in heaven. But in hell, due to body consciousness, man becomes more and more selfish, out of which his actions end up creating pain and sorrow for himself and others. That's how we tie ourselves in bondage with each other. That is the main reason we can never go back to where we came from, to this soul world. So it is from here the soul comes to heaven, and after taking several rebirths in heaven, it enters and start taking several rebirths in hell as well. And now, just 100 years before the completion of this world, God comes to give this knowledge, to purify us and fill souls with its power, and take all the souls back with him so that this world gets destroyed and gets renewed to heaven again. But in hell, for the past 2500 years, we have been cursing each other for the sorrow we give each other. So it is because of the curses we get from others that we suffer, and due to the curses we give others, others also suffer. You know what? It is due to the bondage. You may want somebody who is very loving to you to come with you in all other future lives. Guess what? It actually happens. But what you don't expect is it comes uh, in your vicinity, but with a character that you can never imagine. Because after taking several rebirths, it will acquire many negative characters from its surroundings, and after 3 or 4 births, it will again come to you in a close relationship, or sometimes it will come even as your lifelong enemy. But the one who is giving you the most pain now in this birth is definitely the most loved one in one of your previous births. A sister recently asked me whether it's possible for the dead ones to come back. So, what she doesn't know is she is already living with the dead ones. So, the ancestors that we want to pray for the salvation of them, they are none but your relatives, your close relatives in your previous births. So they don't get salvation just by offering water. Do you think salvation is that easy for anyone to achieve? And you need to know what salvation actually is. It is mukti and jivan mukti. Mukti means independence, freedom, freedom from this sorrowful world. So they should not take rebirth in this world, in this hell again. So that is called mukti. So if a person escapes from the prison, or if he is released from the prison, he is not going to disappear. Of course, he is going to be somewhere which is better than jail. Likewise, mukti doesn't mean disappearance of the soul. Soul is eternal. It can never be destroyed. That is the essence of Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, what happens after liberation from this world of sorrow? The soul reaches its home, which is called Parandam or Parlok. So that's where God resides all the time. Only difference between God and us is we enter the birth and death cycle that lasts for 5000 years, while God stays away from this birth and death cycle. Nonetheless, he comes in the end to give this knowledge, so he doesn't take birth like us from a mother's womb. Instead, he enters an old man's body directly and he names him Brahma, and he starts giving this knowledge through his mouth. Since we have committed a lot of sins for the past 2500 years in hell, obviously you will be encountering people who tries to give as much sorrow as possible. It is by becoming soul conscious that you are aware of the reason why they are attacking you without any reason. Of course, there is a reason, but there's no reason for him to attack in this birth. But still, due to your past karma, it's coming in front of you. Now, since you are soul conscious, since you don't consider even this body to be yours, you are just getting ready to take the body of a deity, possibly the number one deity, which is Sri Lakshmi or Sri Narayan. So God says, as soon as you receive this knowledge, you are becoming the direct son or daughter of God Shiva. So that God Shiva is called Allah by Muslims, Heavenly Godfather by Christians. God is just one. So our God Father resides in this soul world, which is Parandamar Parlok. So the moment you receive this knowledge and receive the introduction of God from God Himself, you are dead to this world at a mental level. So now your place of residence is the soul world. Now from there, God is sending you back to the same body, but now you should not consider this body to be yours. This is the body given by God to settle all your karmic accounts with your ancestors, who are the relatives. Compared to the wealth you possessed originally in the beginning of heaven, what you have is can be compared only to the water with sesame seeds. It is not valuable, right? So you are more like a beggar. So what you have is similar to that of water with sesame seeds. But you should be ready even to sacrifice that to settle the karmic account with others. So that is what's mentioned in Mahabharata, when Karan, before his death, was ready to sacrifice even the earrings that he was born with. So that is to settle the karmic account. Now you should put your maximum effort in pleasing everyone whom you are contacting with, because they are none but your ancestors. So it is because of them and the curse of them that you are suffering now. Not only you should be able to forgive all the pain and sorrow caused by your close ones, but also you should be able to receive blessings from them. Your effort should be on that level. How is that possible? Do you know how much he has cheated me? Yes, that's true. It is impossible for you to forgive him as long as you are body conscious. Once you become soul conscious, once you surrender yourself totally to God, once you belong to only God and none, it is easily possible for you to forgive anybody, because that's what God does. Now you are the direct child of God, you are the student of God, you are receiving the teachings of God. If you can't forgive others, then who else will? So this is the only path to attain salvation. So this path of salvation is also mentioned through a Bible story where Jacob, while crossing a river, was confronting a stranger, and that stranger strikes fight with him for no reason. And Jacob and the stranger fights all night long. In the end, the stranger gets fed up, so he wants to leave. Then Jacob doesn't leave him alone. So when the stranger asked, "Why are you not leaving me alone?" Jacob said, "I want you to bless me before leaving." So that's the secret behind attaining salvation. The river they mentioned, the physical river they mentioned in Bible actually represents the river of poison, which is hell. We need to cross this to go to heaven. For that we need the blessings of everybody. So it depends on the amount of blessings you receive from others. Your status in heaven is going to be determined. So it is only by forgiving others that you are getting mukti, the liberation, because you are settling the account between each other. And also it is by receiving blessings that you attain Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means taking birth in heaven. Mukti means getting liberated from hell and going back to our soul world. So of course everybody will have to attain Mukti in the end, but whether it's going to be a painful experience or blissful experience purely depends on whether you take this knowledge seriously and put effort in getting detached from everybody or not. Actually, Mahalaya Amavasya marks the end of Pitru Paksha and marks the beginning of Durga Puja. So which is why in the morning they give offerings for the ancestors and send them off, and in the evening they will do prayers to welcome Durga Devi to their home. The actual spiritual secret behind this worship is, now we have all relationships only with God Shiva, and the most auspicious relationship is husband and wife. So we are the Parvati Devis of God Shiva because we remember him all the time. And it is only by considering God Shiva as our soulmate that we can get rid of all the attachment, and we can get rid of all the devilish qualities that actually causes this bondage in the first place. So we will be able to let go of all ego only when we become the wife or Parvati Devi of God Shiva fully. So that's why it is mentioned that Sati sacrificed herself in the fire. So which means what happens when someone is put in the middle of fire? Of course the body will be burnt, but the soul is eternal, it cannot be burnt. So it actually means she becomes fully soul conscious. So it is the souls who has taken this knowledge and have established all relationship only with God Shiva. They are called Sati Devi as per scriptures. So now we no longer identify ourselves with this body and any other bodily relationships. So there is absolutely no reason for us to have ego anymore. We are the soul, our resident, this is our place of residence. So that is the place where there is absolutely no peacelessness at all. There is nothing that makes one to lose peace. Actually it is called the world of peace or Shanti Dham. So that's where we come from. So no matter what happens, we are going to stay peaceful. It is only when you fall for lust, anger, greed, attachment or ego that you lose peace. But if you consider yourselves just to be the soul free of anything, then you will automatically experience nothing but peacefulness and blissfulness. So it is only when you are fully soul conscious and when you have remembrance of God Shiva all the time that you are able to conquer all these five vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego. It is only through this that you free yourself from the bondage of others, and also you free others from the bondage you have established in your past life. That is how you liberate your ancestors and help them attain mukti, not by offering them water or sesame seeds or anything. So it is only by becoming Durga Devi fully you are able to free yourself from all the bondages of Kali Yuga. So that is why they are welcoming Durga. Actually, it actually means that you are welcoming Durga within you. So it is by you expressing the qualities of Durga Devi that you are able to conquer all the vices. Those vices are collectively called Mahishasur. So Durga Devi is basically welcomed to have a fight with Mahishasur and kill them. So the fight with Mahishasur that lasts for 9 days is celebrated as Navratri. So after killing Mahishasur, she is becoming Lakshmi in Satyug, which means it takes us this full birth to conquer all the vices. In the end, the world gets destroyed and it gets renewed into heaven, and we'll be leaving our body, go to the soul world, then come back to the Satyug and take a beautiful new body, and we'll be blessed with everything that's going to keep us happy for the next 2500 years constantly. So it is only through this you can liberate yourself and liberate others. So the reason it is carried out during Mahalaya Amavasya is it is a new moon day where there is full darkness. So we have no power. It's as if the soul is completely dark. It is through remembrance of God and by following the knowledge of God, which is called Murli, which is available in all Brahma Kumaris Rajoga meditation centers. You can also Google for the Murli in any language and you can find it. And you need to read it daily to develop the divine qualities within you and to put an end to all the devilish qualities. That's how you acquire all the divine qualities that one possesses in the beginning of the new world. It is by acquiring it right now that you are eligible to take birth in heaven. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching. Happy Mahalaya Amavasya.